price increases? That is the other thing to consider. The inflation rate is on the rise again. Oh my god. Again. We are going to be living in the 1970s. I am aware that I am exposed to these tales from you people since I often come across them on Twitter. There are a lot of subtleties surrounding the fact that inflation is back on the rise, but people are not really paying careful attention to some of those issues. The fact of the issue is that there are a lot of things that over the course of a long period of time will not only lead to a significant increase in the quantity of money that is available, but will also keep inflation under control, as well as the quantity of liquidity that will be there inside the markets, which can only indicate one wonderful thing: that is easily accessible. It is going to spell wonderful things for cryptocurrencies in general and XRP in particular, and none other than Raoul is going to give it to us straight and to the point in the way that we need to hear it, and that is what we are going to be talking about in the video that we are going to be discussing today. That being said, let's listen to what he has to say and then hit that like button. It is unclear where you are obtaining this. It is beyond my comprehension. You are listening to some random macro folks who are terrible and who have never managed a portfolio when they are trying to tell you something, and you are thinking to yourself, and see, he said it, the inflation is beginning to return and we are all going to lose money. I believe you. Within the context of this huge fucking exchange, every one of us has our own net worth. We want it to function. Please, please, please just focus. So wages, wage tracking growth becoming down. Therefore, we will not see wages increasing for a while, if at all, depending on if AI breaks it all together. I'm concerned about it. Oh, housing prices. Well, home prices are a tremendous drag. Since there's a 17-month lead, there will be a decrease in the consumer price index, CPI, shelter, which is the most significant component of the CPI. If the most significant component of the core CPI is housing, then it is not going to go up. So what happens when interest rates go down? The consumer price index, CPI, falls as a result of the decrease in owner equivalent rents. Take a look at the Cleveland New Tenant Rent Index, which features a 3-quarter lead. It is passing out. The value has dropped below zero. Respectfully, my friends, there is no inflation. Let's remove the shelter and examine anything that is less protected from the sunlight. When it comes to shelters, the lowest one is 1.9%. Really, guys, what do you mean? This would be followed by the utilization of the Mount Fuji charts of truth, which Julian and I have been utilizing for an indefinite amount of time. In other words, we compare this particular instance of inflation to all of the other key inflation incidents, and guess what happens? There is a downward trend in inflation. Therefore, we will experience cyclical inflation at a later stage in the process. In terms of structure, there is nothing. We are not going to repeat the mistakes of the 1970s. Neither of those things is going to take place. There is just no way that any of that is going to take place. The imposition of tariffs does not cause inflation. It did not cause inflation the last time. It will not cause inflation this time. And none of that is going to change. It is going to be a cycle that is fairly typical indeed. This indicates that dips are available for purchase. The cycle top once more. With all of the fucking noise on X, the cycle top is the top that isn't topped sooner than expected. I can't believe how terrible it is. It is very terrifying. It is very terrifying. None of us are even close. This is the unique risk indicator. Do we have too much money? Not at all. Not at all. The Bitcoin valuation model. Are we treated too highly? Not at all. Not at all. Let's compare it to the cycle that has been going on since 2017. How close are we to the top? Oh gosh, we are very close to each other. Would we be able to adhere to this to the letter? No. In light of this, do you think we will be able to achieve? Well, in my opinion, yes. I believe that it will rhyme more than people anticipate, and moreover, I believe that we will have a stronger cycle than people anticipate. An overwhelming majority of the indicators that have been gathered over the course of the past 16 years point in the same direction. This cycle will continue for a reasonable amount of time, according to what they are telling us, and quantitative easing, which is the thing that we have all been waiting for, is also very close at hand. And to begin selling any asset, whether it be real estate, stocks, or cryptocurrency at this very moment is probably, in my opinion, one of the most ridiculous things that you could possibly do. This is because the cryptocurrency market is still in its infancy. To put it another way, it is the same as waiting for something to happen for a very long time and then giving up just 10 minutes before the finish line. It is completely devoid of any and all make sense. This is going to be demonstrated by what Raoul is about to share with you guys, so make sure you pay attention. That is, for those of you who still bothered to trade stocks, which I am aware that some of you did continue to do. To put it simply, it is repeating the same pattern. It's almost like a rehash of the previous Trump administration, since he's virtually got the same policies, with the exception of the new stimulus package for the technology industry. Come on, let's go back once more. This is something that Julian discusses in his presentation, but I feel the need to drive the point home, and I want to focus on you as well. You all suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, as a result of the previous cycle. It was completed ahead of schedule. Is it going to take place once more? Am I going to throw away my money? Is it possible that I will quadruple all of my gains? Will I pass away? Will I have to drink Bud Light for the rest of my life? Or may I sip champagne? All of these stories. Blah, 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 blah. The market in the orange zone continues to rise. Exactly. It didn't really happen in the year 2021, so what exactly took place in the year 2021? Oh, the ISM made its peak. When the ISM reaches its highest point, Raoul warned you a moment ago that you should be concerned about the situation. Oh yes, the ISM reached its highest point in March of 2020. It is 2021. In the past, it reached its highest point. Guess what? That's when Ethereum reached its highest point in 2013 as well. It works every time, and where are we now? Oh, we're at the bottom of the ISM. Oh, how ridiculous it is of me to be concerned about the ISM regarding the market reaching its highest point. For the love of all that is holy, people, I don't even know what this chart is. Oh, just from the halving that we've only done, as I mentioned earlier, liquidity reached its highest point in March 2021, and we are currently in a negative position according to this measure of liquidity. The halving, or from the low, we have only done an 8x from the low. We did an 85x and a 46x. Truly started liquidity. In the event that I make use of the global M2 measure, we are only positive, but we are not even close to reaching a liquidity peak. As was previously mentioned, the ISM reached its highest point in 2021. Take a look at it, shall we? March of 2021 was the month in which this was taking place. Take note of that. The state of the economy was deteriorating, and the ISM, well, it had reached its highest point of over 60, and now let's have a look at the present measurement. Are you prepared, children? Contrary to that, in addition to the green, it is bottoming. However, the indicator of financial circumstances will be moving in the other direction, and when we did this the last time, it brought about a significant increase. Blah, blah, blah. One more time, this is the chart. What is everyone thinking? When is my banana zone going to arrive? It was a failure. It's almost as if the banana zone is a period of time and a price action that is nuanced due to the fact that it goes through bursts and then corrections. Since September of the previous year, the banana zone has been operational since then. The market appeared and proceeded to behave in the same manner as it always does. After banana zone phase 1, the correction can be made. It starts out with the corrective phase, then moves on to the banana zone phase 2, and then it goes fucking la-la. It goes really insane, and then guess what happens? The second phase of correction then fits in, and after that, we move on to the final blow-off top. Moreover, Guy, I can't help but feel humiliated for you. If you look at that chart and see how small that squiggle is for the correction phase, you have to be embarrassed because of all of the complaints you have been making. I can't help but feel humiliated for you. Oh, terrible. I completely forgot that you had purchased AI tokens, and they have dropped by 90%. To be honest, I did make an effort to tell you, don't mess this up is the thesis that I presented to you. If you are able to follow it, you should avoid using leverage. The majority of your portfolio should be concentrated in the top 90%. 5 cryptocurrencies of your choosing to work with. You generally find that you don't let fear of missing out, FOMO, prevent you from doing foolish crap. Be careful not to get hacked, and you will be okay if you store your belongings safely. But no, the vast majority of individuals did not. Therefore, pay attention. If you have not been paying attention to the guidance that Raoul is providing in this context, you still have the option to effectively unfuck your destiny. When I make a request, it is always for the same item. Should you invest 90% of your wealth in truly good plays? We are discussing XRP, HBAR, and other cryptocurrencies located in the United States that are causing a change in the industry. There is also a Caspa and a few other cryptocurrencies. In my opinion, those are the proper course of action to take. On the other hand, if you go ahead and invest a significant amount of your money in a number of high-risk meme coins, AI coins, and other such things, you are going to end up in a terrible financial situation in the long run. When you diversify your investments, it is possible that you will experience a great deal of luck on occasion. On the other hand, it is not really worth it when you can absolutely make a lot of money if you invest 90% of what you have outside of that. Therefore, keeping this in mind, you can use 90% of your revenue and you can trade that on BTCC. Additionally, if you use my link to make your first deposit, you will receive a 10% bonus. And with the remaining 10% of your portfolio, you might even consider engaging in leverage trading, which is something that I am also doing with approximately 10% of my overall portfolio in order to make even more money. What's more, I've been able to double and even quadruple the quantities that I have placed in there over the course of the past few months on a few occasions, and you guys are able to do the same thing. To receive the 10% deposit incentive, you should sign up for BTCC. You will also be